Hello and welcome back to another video review, this time for Bumblebee. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this, and please leave a comment below letting me know if you enjoyed the film. The Autobot resistance on the planet Cybertron, commanded by Optimus Prime, is on the verge of losing the fight against the Decepticons, and is preparing to depart the planet. During the evacuation, Decepticon troops headed by Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave intercept the Autobots, and Optimus sends Autobot Scout B-127 to Earth in an escape pod to establish a base of operations before sticking behind to fend off the Decepticons. B-127 lands in California, disrupting a training exercise by Sector 7, a covert government outfit that monitors alien activities on Earth. Colonel Jack Burns believes B-127 is hostile and directs his soldiers to strike. B-127 examines a Willys MB vehicle and runs to a mine, where the Decepticon Blitzwing ambushes him. Blitzwing takes out B-127's speech box and ruins his memory core when B-127 refuses to give Optimus's whereabouts. But B-127 eliminates Blitzwing with one of his own missiles. Before succumbing from his injuries, B-127 studies a nearby 1967 yellow Volkswagen Beetle. In 1987, Charlie Watson, a girl saddened by her father's death and resentful of her mother, Sally's new lover, Ronald, discovers a yellow Volkswagen Beetle in a scrapyard owned by Hank, who offers it to her as an 18th birthday present. Charlie unintentionally activates a homing signal when attempting to start it, which is noticed by Decepticons Shatter and Dropkick as they interrogate and slice down Cliffjumper on one of Saturn's moons. The two Decepticons travel to Earth, assume Earth vehicle forms, and face Sector 7. Posing as peacekeepers, they persuade the agency to assist in the capture of B-127, despite Burns' concerns. While Charlie is attempting to repair the Beetle, it morphs into B-127, whom she calls Bumblebee. She then unintentionally unlocks a message from Optimus Prime, encouraging Bumblebee to protect Earth, restoring part of his memories. They are found by Charlie's neighbor Memo, who offers to keep their secret hidden, while Bumblebee learns to converse through radio. When left alone, Bumblebee mistakenly ruins Charlie's house and generates an energy surge that draws the notice of Sector 7. When Sally accuses Charlie of causing the mayhem, Charlie finally expresses her grief over her father's death and flees with Bumblebee and Memo, only to be pursued by Sector 7 and the Decepticons. Bumblebee is apprehended, and Charlie and Memo are returned to their homes. Charlie persuades her brother Otis to accompany her and Memo to the Sector 7 station where Bumblebee is being detained. Shatter and Dropkick torture Bumblebee. They trigger an Optimus transmission, discovering that the Autobots are on their way to Earth. After disclosing their plot to bring the Decepticons to Earth, they murder Bumblebee. Dr. Powell is slain by Dropkick after revealing the truth about the Decepticons to Burns. Charlie electroshocks Bumblebee to resurrect him while avoiding Burns' intervention. After invading the military with the help of Memo and her family, Charlie and Bumblebee track down the Decepticons, who are conversing with Cybertron via a radio tower at a nearby harbor. Shatter attempts to intervene by shooting down Burns' chopper, but is saved by Bumblebee. As Bumblebee binds Dropkick with a chain, he gets torn apart. Charlie destroys the Decepticon beacon, but Shatter pursues him. Bumblebee breaks the dam wall, resulting in a flood that crushes and destroys Shatter. Bumblebee and Charlie escape the army and arrive on a rock overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge, where Charlie bids farewell to Bumblebee, recognizing that he serves a bigger purpose. Bumblebee transforms into a new 1977 Chevrolet Camaro and speeds away, as Charlie reunites with her family in Membo. Bumblebee meets up with Optimus Prime, who has successfully fled Cybertron. As they watch additional escape pods reach Earth's atmosphere, he thanks Bumblebee for keeping the planet safe. Meanwhile, Charlie completes the Corvette repair her father and she were working on and takes it for a spin. The first character that I will talk about is Bumblebee, played by Dylan O'Brien. Bumblebee was the best part of this movie. His characterization is much different from the Michael Bay Transformer movies. He was a lot more goofy in this movie and was a lot more humorous, and I actually really enjoyed that. Yes, I do like this serious version of Bumblebee, but I feel like this version of him is characterized the best, and it really suits him and his personality. He basically has the same role as the past Transformers movie, where he was the Defender, and he was on Earth to scout out everything. Bumblebee's design is also different in this movie, and I really like that because they went back to his original design from the TV show that was in 1984. I do find it funny though, at the end of the movie, he just went right back to the Michael Bay Transformer movies design where he was the 1977 Camaro. The next character I will talk about is Charlie, played by Haley Steinfeld. I like this interpretation of the other side character better, because this character seemed like she genuinely cared more for Bumblebee than Sam did. She seemed a lot more personable and really suited this role properly. She seemed to be really accepting of Bumblebee, and I really like that, and I think part of it is because she really had nobody else in her life, and Bumblebee came in at the right time to help her out in life. I like how she was teaching Bumblebee how to act on Earth, because humans would obviously be terrified of him. Overall, I do think that she is a great character. The last character I will talk about is Agent Burns, played by John Cena. To be honest, I completely forgot that he was even in this movie, so it was kind of a shocker to see him for the first time. I have to say his character wasn't really that good. I couldn't tell if he was the comic relief or the villain. I guess you can kind of say he was both, but at the same time there was no reason to have this character in my opinion. He did say some pretty funny things, but otherwise his character was meaningless. And John Cena's acting was okay, but not great either. There are indeed some good moments in this movie, and I will tell you about them now. The first thing I gotta talk about is the first part of the movie, where they actually show us the war on Cybertron. That's the one thing I missed from the first Transformers movies, was the fact that they never showed us the war on Cybertron. They always talked about it, and I always wondered what it was like during the war, but we never got any solid scenes with them fighting on Cybertron, so I'm very glad that they decided to show this in this movie. I admit, when I first saw screenshots of Bumblebee's new look, as well as Optimus Prime's new look, I was not a big fan. Honestly though, I actually like the change now, because it seems more realistic to me, to be honest. I know they used the most iconic cars in Michael Bay's series because it was just basically a giant ad, but in this one it feels more genuine. I know there's going to be other Transformers movies coming soon, and I really can't wait to see what the other Autobots and Decepticons look like. Every single scene with either Bumblebee or the Decepticons was really good. The Decepticons didn't seem comically villainous, and I really like that. They didn't make them goofy at all, and yeah, they had some jokes around, but it wasn't overly abrasive, and it didn't ruin the movie. I have a few issues with this movie. The first issue with this movie is most of the characters besides the Transformers. I know I'm going to sound a bit harsh here, but I cared a lot more for what the Transformers were doing rather than what Charlie or her family were doing. I admit I did find the storyline with Charlie trying to get over her father's death pretty compelling, but all the other stuff just annoyed me. For instance, Charlie's mother being overly protective and really not understanding what Charlie was going through, to the point where it felt really forced. Like, come on, really? Her father just died, and you've already moved on and started dating a new dude, and acted like nothing happened. I kind of am on Charlie's side in this fight, because you're just not going to get over that in such a short amount of time. The other dumb thing I can't get around my head is the fact that the US government seems so quick to trust the Decepticons. I find it funny because John Cena's character literally said, "Do you really think we should trust people literally called the Decepticons?" I honestly felt like John Cena's character was just there as the audience implanted into the movie, because he kept on saying how stupid this was. I thought this movie was just okay, but I would have rather this movie was more centered around the Transformers rather than the humans. Before we get any further, I just want to admit that, yes, I did enjoy the Michael Bay Transformers movies, so I may be a little biased here, but I would much rather have a Transformers movie where the only characters are Transformers. I'm going to go on a little ramble here and say that I'm sick and tired of movies like this doing this. Like, for instance, Godzilla vs. Kong. We don't want to see the drama between the humans. We want to see the big bad boys beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. I just wish we got a movie like that for once, instead of trying to make us feel bad for the humans involved. I'm not sure how to feel about this next point, but it's the fact that Bumblebee went back to the Camaro. I will admit I love the character design of him being the Camaro, but they had the whole movie to make us comfortable with the fact that he is now a Beetle again. We got used to it, which is great, but then just out of nowhere at the end he turns into a Camaro again. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of the entire movie, where they changed his character design. I actually started to really like that character design because they went back to the original design and they made it work. I just don't know why they had to go back to the Camaro. I think it was to give people a sense of familiarity with the character, but then it confuses the general audience because this is a reboot of the Transformers, yet Bumblebee looks exactly the same as he did in the Michael Bay movies. It just brings up a sense of confusion for the type of audience that has seen the Michael Bay movies. I guess in the end there's nothing you can really do about that, but I just hope they keep the original designs for the other Autobots and Decepticons. So in the end, what would I rate Bumblebee? I'm going to give Bumblebee a good 6 out of 10. I give it a 6 out of 10 because it's definitely a serviceable movie, and if it was on TV, I would watch it, but I would not go out of my way to watch it again. I really like seeing Bumblebee again, especially as the Beetle, and I really like the Transformers storyline as well as the war on Cybertron. For me, the drama with the humans and a lot of these characters just didn't work for me because I was just a lot more entertained by the Transformers storyline. Anyways, if you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you so much everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.